Hi, thanks for joining today. I am really excited about the topic of this video. It's all about dahlias. Maybe not all about dahlias, but information that will help me and hopefully help you to this point in the season. So dahlias are pretty new to me. I'll be the first to admit that I've only grown them for 1 year. So everything I know is based on information that people have shared with me or the research that I've been doing. I thought it would be helpful to not only have this documented for myself for future years, but also perhaps it might provide a tip or interesting information for somebody who's watching. So last year was my first year growing them. I picked up a couple of varieties that were kind of decorative border dahlias. They were pretty short. They were about 2.5 feet tall. And about halfway through the growing season, I was doing some research on dahlias and realized that they are not hardy in my zone 4. And if I wanted to have the plants again this year, I would need to dig up the tubers and overwinter them and then grow them this spring. And so I thought, oh, that sounds great. I will try to do that. I will make a good effort. And I dug them up and I left them to dry too long. They were very shriveled and sad. I did overwinter them in hopes that maybe something would work, and it turned out I was very fortunate. About half of them did sprout, so that's great. I learned a lot, and I'm hoping this fall can be more successful. I also acquired several new varieties this year, so I am so excited. I can't really even contain how excited I am about all of these flowers. So just a quick overview on dahlias. As I mentioned, they can come in different sizes. So the varieties that I had last year were border dahlias. They were very short, about 2.5 feet tall, but there are varieties like dinner plate dahlias that can get up to 6 feet tall. And they have huge blooms, like 10, 12 inches wide, huge blooms. There's many different styles of the actual dahlia. Ball or pom-pom style. There's anemone. Cactus. There is a decorative category. Dinner plate variety. There's single dahlias. And water lily. And they come in a ton of different colors. So you can get your whites and your creams, your yellows. There's orange, browns, pinks, purples. There's even ones that almost look black. So any size, any color. You can't go wrong with that. And they make a fantastic cut flower. They're just gorgeous. They're a flower that looks very symmetrical, and that's really appealing. And they have a ton of detail in them. So clearly I'm excited about this type of flower. Couple things to know about planting. So dahlias love sun, 6 to 8 hours in the sun. They like well-draining soil. They don't like their tubers or their roots wet. That will rot the plant. They're a variety of plants that benefit from pinching or cutting back. You will get more branching, which means more flowers. They may require staking. If you get some of the taller varieties, you may find that if you stake them, they're less likely to flop over on you. So a tuber clump kind of looks like a bunch of potatoes connected. That's how I think of it. So the 3 main parts of the tuber that you are looking for. The first is the actual body of the tuber. The body of the tuber connects to the neck, and the neck is going to connect to the crown of the plant. Here you can actually see where last year's flower stalk sprouted from. But what you're looking for in the crown of the plant are these eyes. And the eye is a raised spot, and it's going to send up a new shoot for the year. So I will try to turn this one around. You can kind of see, you can see where the sprout started. But you can also see here's a slightly raised spot. So here's another tuber. You can see this one has 2 tubers attached to it. And as long as the neck on both of them is not broken, that's just fine. So the body is connected to the neck, and the neck is connected to the crown. And on the crown, this one is very easy to see, there was an eye right where this sprout is now coming from. So I mentioned earlier that pinching and cutting spent blooms is something that will really help dahlias improve the number of blooms that they have. I'm hoping I can show you how to pinch them back. So in this case, I had pre-sprouted this dahlia. It is now plenty tall that I can pinch it back. So I think you want to wait to pinch them back until they're about 8 to 12 inches tall and have multiple sets of leaves. This one is definitely surpassing both of those measures. The second set of leaves on here is actually right here. So you can see it's actually a leaf node right here. Without pinching them, we will have one stalk that goes up the center, and this will produce a beautiful bloom. But by pinching, we're now going to send a stalk up this way, which will have beautiful blooms, and we're going to send a stalk up this way, which will have more beautiful blooms. So you can see how this will multiply the number of blooms that you should expect to get. When I'm pinching, you could use your fingers. I'm going to use my snippers, and you just cut right above the leaf node. It's a little bit sad to cut that much off, but it will regrow. It'll send up many more beautiful blooms. And once you've done it several times, then it's slightly less traumatic. So here is a plant that I actually pinched back several weeks ago, and I wanted to show you what it looks like once you have pinched them back and they start to regrow. So you can see right here is where I made my cut. Off to the side, here are the two side branches that it's now sending up. Both of these will produce lots of blooms, lots of color. So now for the exciting part, what am I growing this year? And first and foremost, I have to give a huge thank you to Amanda and April, some of my lovely neighbors who have been growing dahlias for several years and have amassed a beautiful collection of them. They divided their tubers this spring and they had extras. So they reached out and asked if I would be interested in growing any of them. Yes, all of them. So with their generosity, I have been able to probably quadruple the number of dahlias that I'm going to be growing this year. Running through what I have in my collection. First up, I have a sweet light yellow dahlia called Lemonade, which is a really cute light yellow water lily shaped dahlia. Then I'm going to grow Holly Hill Black Beauty, and this is a stunning flower. It's a deeper maroon color, so I don't have this color of flower anywhere in my garden, and I think this is going to look fantastic in late summer, early fall when it can be paired with sunflowers. Then kind of along the same color line is Black Satin, and this one is a little bit more of a compact version of it. It has more rounded petals than the Holly Hill Black Beauty, but it's a similar deep color. Then I have a couple more yellow ones. I have Polventon Supreme Sunkissed, and this is, I want to say it's little, but it's really not. It's 4.5 feet tall, and the blooms on this are 5 inches, so it's actually pretty big. The next one is a beautiful water lily dahlia. It's called Bridezilla. This one's a little bit taller. It's 5 feet tall, and it's white. It looks like the middle petals are a little bit more of a cream color, but this is going to be beautiful. The next one is, I think, my favorite that April and Amanda had, and I'm really excited about this one. It's called Iced Tea. It has smaller blooms. They're only about 3 inches across, and the plant itself is a little bit shorter. It's 3.5 feet tall. It has corals, it has pinks. It looks like it's got a little bit of magenta in it. I am really in love with these peachy colors this year, so this one is at the top of my list for my favorites. The next one is called Diva. It has 6-inch blooms and it's purple. And then the last one that I have from April and Amanda is called Blue Teaful. And this one again is a larger one. It's a little bit more free-spirited, it looks like. It has 6-inch blooms and it's an informal decorative variety. I did pick up a few varieties from a store, and I have White Perfection, Mr. Optimist. Each of the tips of the petals have yellow accents. Zingaro. Another variety I got was Penhill Watermelon. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. This one looks like a huge, messy dahlia. Cafe au lait, because I had to have that. Cornell bronze. This was at the top of my list for what I was really excited about. Crichton honey. And this is another one of the ball form dahlias. So those are the varieties I have. I'm really hoping that the weather cooperates this year and I don't make any huge mistakes growing them so that I can have some of these for cut flowers this year. That would be such a huge win for me. So what I'm gonna go do now is plant up the varieties that I have left in my box of tubers. And I'm also going to pot up my Bridezilla variety. All right, so I have a location picked out for my iced tea variety, and they're gonna go along the sidewalk in the front of the house because I love these. And I'm actually going to put them on both sides of my arborvitae here. I have my trowel, I have fertilizer, and I have my labels. I'm going to be labeling all of them because I really don't want to come across a situation where I have a bunch of tubers this fall and I don't know what they are. So the first thing I'm going to do is move back all the mulch. And I've got lots of mulch in here. And you want to plant your dahlia tubers about 6 inches deep. You do want to make sure that you plant them with the eyes facing up, so they're going to go in the ground pretty much like that. It could be a little bit difficult to find the eyes on them, so just do the best that you can looking for a raised point on the crown of the plant. Once you have your hole, I'm going to throw in the fertilizer. I have read that you want to fertilize with a fertilizer that has a low nitrogen level. I believe the nitrogen in fertilizer is going to promote leaf growth, and we want to make sure that there's enough nutrients in the fertilizer that it promotes the bloom growth as well. I'm going to plant up my next varieties. Don't forget to label. When you're planting your varieties next to each other, you want to leave 12 to 18 inches of space between the two plants. All right, so we're on the other side of the arborvitae for these. And as you can see, I still have some of my tulips here. They will go away probably in another 3 weeks. As soon as they are completely browned, I will cut them back and then we won't see these anymore. So I'm gonna work around them to put the last 2 of these iced tea dahlias in. I'm gonna pot up these Bridezilla dahlias because I can't put them in the ground quite yet. This is what you would do 4 to 6 weeks ago if you were pre-sprouting your dahlias in hopes of getting them to bloom a little bit earlier during your season. I think they'll be fine once I can get them in the ground, and they should be about on track as far as timing. What I'm gonna do is put a couple inches of soil in this nursery pot. And then I'm going to put my tuber with the eyes facing up on top of that. And this one's a little bit tight, but it should be okay for just a couple weeks. Then on top of this, I'm gonna put a couple more inches of potting soil. I have read that you're not supposed to water these until you can start to see the stem or the leaves sprout from the top of the soil. So I'm gonna leave this, and actually this one has a pretty long stem on it already. It will probably need water in a couple days. us know in the comments below, what is your favorite type of dahlia? Or which one of these are you most excited to see later in the season? I know I'm excited to see all of them. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And stay tuned for what we have coming next.